back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back pickle biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
And it is time for the 4,000 subscriber Ask Me Anything or Q&A, whatever you want to call it. Thanks. First, I got to start this off for sure with a big thank you to everybody that's listening right now, everybody that's hit subscribe, even if you're just lurking. It is what it is, man. I used to be a lurker before I started my channel, so I completely get it. But with that being said, man, I appreciate everybody that's I appreciate everything, whether you've just watched a video, whether you asked a question on here, whether you've donated in the past. I appreciate it all. I've only had this channel for about 8 months now, almost 8 months, and we're still rolling strong. 4,000 subscribers on deck. Hashtag and motherfucking still. With that being said, let's get into these questions. Let's see. I think I already sorted it by newest first, right? Alright, I sorted by newest first, and then we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom. Start with the first question. Let's see. Now, first question is not really a question. It is my boy, Day One Hitter, Stamina MC, with the motherfucking trophy emoji. And still, much appreciated. Xylem, I got ape, said great job on Fox 125. Fox 125, I don't know what that is. Is that my most recent predictions UFC Berlin where I went 5 for 5? I don't know, maybe. Or is that the UFC on Fox? Who knows? But much appreciated. Thanks for the thanks. Eric Swag said, congrats full time. I've seen your channel grow and I'm proud of you. Hey, much appreciated, man. That is super dope to everybody that's been here since the original channel. Even whenever you came on board, man, we still got so much room to grow. So much more to. It doesn't even make sense. Like we've grown so much because we literally started from the fucking foundation, dog shit bottom, fucking outdated cell phone straight to YouTube bullshit. Now we're still like at the low level, bro. There's still so fucking far to go. It's insane how much growth is still to come, but it's dope for everybody that's been here from the beginning or even just from now. Still a lot to come. So thank you very much, Eric Swag. Xylem, I got it. Said Stipe or DC, who will win? What a good fucking question. God, that's a great question because I don't know, bro. I'm going with Stipe. I'm going with Stipe, man, and it's so fucking hard. A lot of people are picking DC. DC's undefeated at heavyweight. DC, usually when a champion goes up a weight class, they don't have much to lose. You're not going to lose your belt. So what are you really losing? It's a big opportunity. When Amanda Nunes goes up to fight Chris Cyborg, she's not losing much. It's a win-win. Daniel Cormier is actually risking something here. He's actually putting his undefeated at heavyweight streak on the line. He's putting his only professional MMA loss to anybody not named John Jones on the line. If Stipe beats DC, you can no longer say he's only lost to John Jones, who was dirty. You can no longer say he was undefeated at heavyweight. Daniel Cormier is really risking it here for the payday or for whatever, for his legacy. If he wins, he becomes #1 P for P, and if he loses some. He's still the light heavyweight champion, but it is what it is, man. Can't wait for the fight, but just right now, I would probably lean towards Stipe. Seismic Shock said, full-time fam at 4,000. Well done, full-time. Thank you very much, Seismic Shock. I know you've been here since day one, too. Much appreciated, good sir. Eric Swag said, so my question is, who are your favorite 3 fighters of all time and why? Now, I've got to go with Anderson Silva for one of them because he's really what drew me into mixed martial arts. Like him, whenever Anderson Silva's probably what mainly did it. Like, let's say my cousin was into MMA and he said, yo, check out these UFC fights. And if Anderson Silva was on the screen, that's what made me say, I got to see more of this shit. Like, whoa, who is this guy? Is this the fucking real life Bruce Lee? What's going on here? Like, even though Anderson Silva's tarnished his legacy and all of that since then, yeah, I'm not saying he's one of the greatest fighters of all time, but you asked 3 of my favorite fighters of all time. Anderson Silva is one. Another one of my favorite fighters of all time would have to be Daniel Cormier. I got to go with Daniel Cormier right here just because not only is he super talented, and I know he gets a lot of hate, maybe his fights aren't the most interesting, but you didn't say like my most entertaining fights, but I like Daniel Cormier as a person, as a professional, and as a fighter. I mean, he's a great person, he's very funny. It's not just about, you know, being a great dad and great husband. He's also super funny, and you know me, I'm a big fan of comedy, and you know I really love humor and laughing. So Daniel Cormier, it's hard to watch him and not laugh, whether he's doing commentary. He might be doing the Thug Rose, Rose. I just fucking love DC. I think he's a super cool dude. Not to mention he was undefeated at heavyweight, undefeated at light heavyweight to everybody not named John Jones before USADA. Daniel Cormier's got to be up there for me. I just think he's one of the dopest fighters of all time. Oh, you said and why? I didn't even know that, but I'm explaining it anyway. So my last favorite fighter of all time. Oh man, I gotta go big, man. I really like John Dodson. He's super cool. I think he's a cool dude. I think he's underrated. I really like underrated people, man. I usually root for the underdogs, but Sean O'Malley, the first person I ever interviewed. Sean O'Malley, for sure, one of my favorite prospects coming up. Super cool dude. I liked him before I interviewed him, but then he gave me that opportunity, so I'm grateful for that. Favorite fighters of all time. Rampage was always super fun and funny. I love Chuck Liddell's. I love Chael Sonnen's humor. Wouldn't be Michael Bisping. I like him. Okay, so Anderson Silva, and then we got Daniel Cormier. Well, who would it be, man? I don't know. It's hard to pick a third one. I named a lot of people, but I don't know who would actually take that third spot that I might be missing right now off the top of my head. Gegard Mousasi. Boom. Gegard Mousasi. Got it. Okay, so there's my three. Daniel Cormier, Gegard Mousasi, and the other guy named... No, fucking Anderson Silva. But there's a lot of other fighters, too, as well. GSP, he's up there, but I wasn't really a hardcore fan back then, so I didn't really appreciate the wrestling as a casual fan. And now since he's been back, he fought Michael Bisping and took off. So, I know GSP would be on a lot of people's lists. I know Fedor's on a lot of people's lists, but I just wasn't even watching back in Fedor's days. So yeah, those are my three favorite fighters. One last time, Gegard Mousasi, and him, I wasn't even a super fan of back in the day. I became a fan of him in my hardcore days, but I'm just a huge fan of what he's done. I even like his fucking attitude, his chip on his shoulder, underdog type dude. I feel like he was very underrated, and that's one of the things about a lot of my favorite fighters. I feel like they're somewhat underrated, but not all of them. So there's my answers. Next, we got Clove Hitch, top 5 favorite fights. Holy shit, top 5 favorite fights, dude. You forget I used to smoke way too much weed for that. I don't got the memory of a fucking Joey Diaz or something. I don't know how he does it. Top 5 favorite fights. I'll give you not Donald Cowboy Cerrone. I'll give you Cowboy Oliveira versus Yancy Medeiros. I'm going to give you some of the best fights of recent, because that's going to be easy for me. God damn, I keep saying Donald Cowboy Cerrone. I'm thinking of the other cowboy, the Brazilian cowboy. Cowboy Oliveira versus Yancy Medeiros. There's one fight. Max Holloway versus Ricardo Lamas. For sure one of my favorite fights of all time. Max Holloway pointed at the ground in the last 15 seconds of a fight he was already winning and said, "Let's fucking bang, bro," and still won the exchange. I will forever love that fight. Max Holloway versus Ricardo Lamas. Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz won because nobody expected Nate Diaz. Well, some people did, but it's just at that point, Conor was undefeated in the UFC at the height of his train. It was a short notice replacement, seemed handpicked. Nate Diaz was the perfect opponent, and he came out there and did what he did after getting dropped maybe in the first round, face bloody, fucking got on the mic. "I'm not surprised, motherfuckers," with the iconic ass blood on his face. Dropped, fucking clip Conor up. Oh my, that was just fucking crazy. Just the magnitude of that shit. Tyron Woodley versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I'm just fucking around. I'm gonna give you my top 3, bro. I'm gonna give you my top 3. I would be going forever. So I'm gonna give you those 3. Ricardo Lamas versus Max Holloway. Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz won. Also, the other one I mentioned. And also fucking the most recent one, which was Yancy Medeiros versus fucking Cowboy Oliveira. I could give you 2 more. Cub Swanson versus Doo Ho Choi was fun. Yeah, but those are 3 I'll go with for that. Man, I feel like I gotta give you 2 more. So I'm gonna give you Max Holloway. I'm gonna give you Cub Swanson and Doo Ho Choi, just because I gotta give you 2 more. You asked for 5, and I'm a man of the people. I gotta give you 5. One more great fight. Damn. Oh, okay, I know which one. Miesha Tate versus Holly Holm. What a fucking fight and what a finish. Miesha Tate versus Holly Holm, and it was on the same card as Conor McGregor, and fucking and it was on the same card as Conor and Nate. Miesha Tate won that fight via submission in the 5th round after losing probably the first 4 rounds. Arguably, she was down on the scorecards. Only way to win was to either knock Holly out or submit her. She ends up hanging onto that fucking choke all the way to the ground, has it sunk in, never lets it go. Holly Holm doesn't tap, goes to sleep. And then Conor comes out and arguably quick taps on the same night. I remember, I'll tell you this much, I didn't have a channel back then. I was just an asshole troll fan, or just a fan of the sport. You know, I liked debating people, so if there was a Conor dick rider, I would be going back and forth with him. So I was like on that night saying, holy shit, Holly Holm went to sleep like a warrior the same night Conor McGregor arguably gave up. Nate Diaz, some of the other people who were more hardcore back then in the day, I mean, a lot of people will say Conor McGregor, even if he didn't quick tap, he shot for a takedown, which meant he wanted out of the fight. So on the same night, Holly Holm showed that she was a fucking warrior, went to sleep. That whole night was insane. What was that, UFC 192? Holy shit, 2 of my favorite fights of all time in the main event and co-main event. So there's 5 fights, man. I can't short you. I'm him, said, congrats, full-time, thanks for your hard work, please continue. Yes, sir, ain't ever stopping. Fuck you, Tab Matt. Man, there's so much shit to be going on personally. Like, I be wanting to fucking just flame microwave shit sometimes, but I don't do that, man. But I'm telling y'all, if I had a whole separate channel, it could be like a goddamn, you guys don't know some of the shit I fucking go through, bro. In real life, with these fucking dweebs around me, another story for another day. Bada bing, bada boom. Hashtag end still. Hashtag free smoke. Hashtag A1 day 1. Let's fucking go. MMA question. Why do you think many consider Jones as pound for pound despite multiple failed tests? I don't get it. Maybe it's because they're on steroids themselves. I don't know. People, even MMA channel, even Brendan Schaub. I was listening to, I gotta fucking speak on this because I was just listening to Brendan Schaub's breakdown. I don't know which one, but he was saying that Daniel Cormier, it was, you know, his producer asked him, so Daniel Cormier says with the win over Stipe, he'll be pound for pound #1 or greatest of all time. Brendan Schaub was like, nah. Even with the fucking win over Stipe, he's not? Who is? He's like, nah, that loss to John Jones will always be held over him. The nigga popped dirty for steroids. So, okay, give me this, Mr. Schaub. If DC's not greatest of all time, who is? Because everybody's got a fucking loss. Who's the greatest of all time if not DC? Because the only person DC has ever lost to in 2 divisions was John Jones before USADA. This one was overturned. Popped dirty. That one, no USADA. He still popped dirty after that shit. John Jones has popped dirty twice. So how is Daniel Cormier not #1 pound for pound if he's undefeated to everyone not named John Jones that's got these multiple failed tests? Who is it? GSP? He came back and fought Michael Bisping and left. Didn't want to fight Woodley. He'll probably fight McGregor. Everyone would pick him to win that fight. Didn't fight Robert Whittaker. Didn't fight any legitimate top 5 middleweights of right now. If George St. Pierre was the middleweight champion right now, Michael Bisping is not a top 5 fighter. So that means George St. Pierre beat a guy that's not in the top 5. So George St. Pierre came back and got 1 win at middleweight versus a guy that's probably outside of the top 10 right now. Michael Bisping might be ranked 11 in the middleweight division. He was just the champion, now he's ranked 11, maybe 7, maybe 9, and that's who GSP beat for the title. So I don't give GSP credit for that middleweight win as far as a greatest of all time talk. Like, yeah, you got to win at middleweight, but that's got nothing to do with you being the greatest of all time. That, what, you beat Michael Bisping 4 years later and then you left again? That doesn't make you P for P #1 over DC, who was 13-0 at heavyweight, came down, went undefeated at light heavyweight to everyone that didn't cheat, and now he's going back up to heavyweight. Oh no, but that John Jones lost, brother. Okay, what about the Matt Serra loss and the, you know, GSP? I'm just saying, GSP's lost too. And shit, if you want to get technical, if we can say Daniel Cormier's 1 loss to a guy that cheated counts, then you can say that Matt Hamill or whoever the fuck that beat John Jones when John Jones got disqualified beat him. John Jones has a loss too. So I really did, that shit really fucking set me off. And I don't understand. If you want to say steroids and all, yeah, John Jones is John Jones is the #1 fighter of all time. If we're talking about who cares about steroids, that's the steroid era. That's another thing Brendan Schaub was talking about. You know, there was a steroid era. Anderson Silva was one of the greatest of the steroid eras. Why can't you say that about John Jones? Was his not the steroid era? I mean, Daniel Cormier was great during the steroid era and the clean era. We're in the clean era now, and Daniel Cormier is still fucking great. So I think Daniel Cormier should be considered up there. And so whenever I heard Brendan Schaub say, yeah, even if he beats Stipe, nah. What the fuck? Now, you said not an MMA question. What kind of new ideas are you cooking up for the channel in 2018? Man, I got a lot of fucking ideas. I got a lot of shit. Because, like, I don't tell it to the channel much. And it's not like whenever I say it, it's going to sound worse than it is. But I'm kind of like in desperation mode. Not because I'm going to be homeless anymore, but because everything around me is still fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's been fucked up. If I didn't have the channel, it would have just kept going fucked up. But now I have an opportunity, and, you know, I have hope now. Like, before, and a lot of the people still around me, fucking hopeless. Before, I was kind of hopeless. I mean, you know, but now I have hope with the channel. So now I'm like, how can I... do I have to make a new channel? Because I know MMA is not the biggest thing out there, you know what I'm saying? So I can always do my MMA thing, and I'm a huge fan of MMA. But I'm wondering if I had, like, just, for example, like, say a hip-hop channel or a reaction channel, something else that would help grow. I mean, but as far as for just the MMA channel, ideas that I'm cooking up, I want to start doing maybe Google Hangouts for some of the people to come in, you know, maybe like a weekly show. Also, I want to start maybe streaming every Sunday. That's what I want to start doing. I'll probably start that next Sunday. Every Sunday, I want to do at least maybe a 4-hour stream. I don't know how long. Also, 2018, maybe starting something with Twitch. I see my boy Sean O'Malley be on Twitch playing Fortnite. You know, I grew up in competitive gaming, so even though I'm a big fan of MMA, my roots came from gaming and shit. So my brothers and some, you know, my brother, my cousin, some of my friends, you know, I play games and shit with them. Before I go to bed, when I'm done with the channel, I might go upstairs and play a couple games. So maybe I might look into Twitch, you know, because it's like streaming. If I'm streaming on YouTube or if I'm streaming on Twitch, it's the same thing, except for you got something to watch besides fucking me. I'll be in a little corner like now, and you'll be seeing me doing something on the screen. So, and I can still talk about MMA or anything. Also, I might be able to, like, play a game against Sean O'Malley, Demetrius Johnson, you know, maybe growing MMA that way. So maybe instead of a reaction or hip-hop, maybe a gaming channel to open up. But yeah, I got so much brought up, not to mention just cosmetic stuff of fucking, you know what I'm saying? I'm in a fucking basement with a goddamn spider cricket infestation and shit sometimes. Like, when it's not winter, fucking, you guys know what the fuck a spider cricket is? Neither did I. Google it. It's something that is a cricket, bro, and it sticks on shit like spiders. So it can jump on the wall like a cricket, but it'll stick there like a spider, and it looks like a spider, but it doesn't bite. It just jumps like a cricket, and they're super fucking fast, and they're really hard to get rid of. So I'm just in this room because if I was upstairs where my bed is, it's kind of like a studio up there. But when my girl's asleep, when she's watching TV, there's no door to block off the sound because it's like a studio. So I gotta come down here to this basement. So there's so much shit to do. Like, literally, like, that's what I was talking about earlier. We started at the bare minimum. That's why there's so much room for growth and improvement, which is why no matter what, there's always going to be something new. So 2018, I mean, you know what I'm saying? More improvements. I might fucking have curtains by 2019. You know what I'm saying? There's so much shit to come, bro. Bada bing, bada boom. Thank you very much for the questions and the support. Who's the best out of the Bantamweight 3? TJ, Cody, or Dom? To me, right now, today, TJ Dillashaw, 100%. Cody will be probably next year going forward. TJ Dillashaw, I feel like, is the better overall well-rounded fighter today. He did win the fight, but Cody did, you know, he was saved by the bell in the first round. But still, TJ Dillashaw is what, like 33, 34 years old. Cody might be 26, 27. TJ's right at the top of his prime, end of his prime, while Cody's you know, just starting his prime. So I believe TJ's the best right now. Dominic Cruz, of course, with the injuries and stuff, I just don't know where he's at. Just broke his arm and shit when he was supposed to be fighting Jimmy Rivera. I don't know what's going on with Dominic Cruz, but with all his injuries, I just can't. And the way his last performance versus Cody Garbrandt, I can't put him up there. So it's out of TJ and Cody, and I would give it to TJ right now. And I say Cody's probably going to have that conversation, be the answer to that conversation for the next 5 years to come after this year. So C-Level DC said, congrats full time. This is only the beginning, bro. Much appreciated. Bro, are you C-Level Kane? Did you change your shit to C-Level DC? Only the beginning, and yeah, only the beginning. That's exactly fucking right. That's what I was saying, bro. Like, we are still at the beginning. Super. Some of you guys have been with me now for like 6-7 months, so you guys have seen the growth, and I know where you're coming from. We have grown a lot, but some of you don't fathom how fucking much this is still the beginning. Like, there's still so much fucking more. It doesn't even make sense because I'm starting from so far back, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Holy shit. I'm excited. So if everything goes well, barring any natural disasters or health concerns, which is a very real concern. So, yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to the future. And as I said, even if fucking thunder strikes tomorrow and or someone breaks into my fucking house, or my mom fucking decides to sell my computer or something, I don't know, if something happens around my life, I've still had the highlight of my fucking life with the channel. Fucking you guys. Interviewed Sean O'Malley, interviewed felony fucking Charles Bennett, dog. I mean, I'm in the game. Fucking, I smoked some of the best weed I've ever smoked in my life, thanks to you guys. So hey, man, we're still at the very beginning, and I'm thankful for just that, but there's still so much farther to go. You don't even fucking know. Oh, I didn't tell some of you guys. I'll just tell you now because y'all are rocking with me. It's the full-time family. John motherfucking Dodson heard my rant and fucking said thanks for the support and shit. I mean, nothing crazy, but he just, I tweeted it at him like, yo, this is why you're one of my favorite and most underrated fighters, and he listened to it and was like, yo, thanks for the support. I too believe I should be 4-0 at bantamweight. So boom, 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 another motherfucking small win for the bull. Let's go. C-Level DC said top 3 UFC Bellator crossover fights. Ooh, that would be good. I want to see, ooh, damn, that's a fucking good question. Of course, Gegard Mousasi versus the UFC champion. Rory McDonald versus Tyron Woodley, the rematch. I would say Michael Chandler versus, like, Conor, but I don't know. That would be a great fight, Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor. But, like, what about, like, who's their featherweight champion? It's not Pitbull anymore. I was thinking about, like, what about, like, how crazy would it be to see, like, Pitbull versus Max Holloway? You know what I'm saying? Someone that's been with the UFC for so long, someone that's been with Bellator for so long. There's a lot of fights, but really any, like, champion versus champion fight, I'm thinking of some of the heavyweights. Like, Bobby Lashley was a wrestler, and, like, people wanted to see him fight, like, Brock Lesnar, but I don't know if that's one I would personally want to see, but it'd be a cool one. Let's see, they got Fedor over there. Fedor versus one of the UFC vet heavyweights. Fedor versus Overeem. I don't know. There's just a lot of cool ass fights you could do with that. But probably the ones I would most want to see are like the champion versus champion fights. You know what I'm saying? Those would be super dope to me. Or Gegard Mousasi. He's not the champ yet, but I would like to see Gegard versus Whitaker. Gegard versus, we've already seen Yoel, I believe. So yeah, Gegard, I mean, Gegard's probably, you know, like TJ Dillashaw in my mind. Gegard Mousasi is one of my favorite fighters of all time, but, you know, his time's coming. He's probably not going to be around too much longer. He's already talked about retirement, building a gym, and what is he, like 38, maybe older, who knows. But I love Gegard Mousasi, and he won't be in his prime for long, in my opinion. Not much more longer. You know, he's been in it, but he's been super underrated. People haven't appreciated it. Now he's over at Bellator, so if it happened tomorrow, give me Gegard versus the champ. Who are your dark horses at lightweight, welterweight, and middleweight? At lightweight, dude, I would probably have to pull up a list and go off the top of my head. Welterweight, of course, Kamaru Usman, for sure. Middleweight, Paulo Costa looked like a beast. Thiago Santos at middleweight, he just hit ranked fucking 15. His only 2 losses in like his last 9 fights are to Gegard Mousasi and then getting caught in a submission to Eric Spicely. But anyone can get caught in a submission. Knock on a 4-fight knockout spree. Fucking one of his only 2 losses was to fucking Gegard. And Yo, Thiago Santos is on a 4-fight KO spree, ranked number 15. That guy is a dark horse. Even though he can be beat, he's a dark horse. Not a lot of guys are going to just want to fight Thiago Santos. Who do people not want to fight? That's what I think of when I think of dark horse. Who's someone in the division people see and they don't want to fight? So Kamaru Usman, let's see, at lightweight, Dustin Poirier is one of them. Not a lot of people want to fight Dustin Poirier. I don't know if he's super dark horse. I mean, in the Eddie Alvarez fight, he was winning the first round, but second round, we all know what happened. Lightweight dark horse. Who does nobody want to fight at lightweight? You would have said Kevin Lee until the Tony Ferguson fight, even though I still believe Kevin Lee, a lot of people didn't want to take the fight against Tony Ferguson. People know who Tony Ferguson is now, but he still gets... Who is someone at lightweight that nobody just wants to fuck with? There's so many killers at lightweight, man. Yeah. I don't know. Off the top of my head at lightweight, I might say Dustin Poirier is a dark horse. He's definitely one of the guys that's as talented as all of the best lightweights, but he doesn't really get the fight. Like, he wanted the winner of Justin and Eddie. He got the loser. He wanted, you know, the rematch with Eddie. He had to fight Pettis first. Got it done. So yeah, I would say Dustin Poirier is probably one of the dark horses of the lightweight division for sure. What are the 3 fighters I believe could beat Mighty Mouse? 3 bantamweights. Nobody at 125 pounds. You just somebody bigger than him. At bantamweight, you know what I'm saying? At bantamweight, there's probably more than 3 guys. But Demetrius Johnson, if there was a men's strawweight division, might be making I heard John Dodson say Demetrius Johnson walks around at like 138 pounds. He's a super small bantamweight. So he's got to fight at 125, and at 125, I don't think anybody beats him. But if you want to talk about a bantamweight, just give me Dominic, Cody, TJ. Seismic Shock said, you've probably been asked this, but would you like to see MMA go back to bare knuckle? I haven't been asked that. I don't know about MMA going back to bare knuckle. I mean, I've heard the arguments for it, how it could make the sport arguably safer even. But I don't know if MMA should go back to bare knuckle, but I'll just tell you this much. There was something that came out like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it was called like bare knuckle boxing. It was like the first one, and I just so happened to see it and catch it. And I was an hardcore MMA fan still back then, and I was in love. I was like, holy fuck. This is what everybody's been asking for. You mix boxing with MMA because you take off the gloves of boxing and you close the distance. You know, it was like just a little fucking small, it's like an MMA octagon but smaller with bare knuckle boxing. So the people that complained about the gloves and how long boxing matches were and, you know, the running around and the clinching wasn't allowed. The people that complained about the grappling in MMA and the wrestling in MMA wasn't allowed. It was fucking the best of both worlds, and it was called bare knuckle boxing, and dudes were getting flatlined. Fucking brutal knockouts. If you want to see brutal knockouts, you're thinking, yeah, he's definitely going out in a stretcher tonight. That's what was happening, and I couldn't believe it. My jaw was dropped. I was telling everybody locally that I knew because I didn't have a channel, like, yo, look at this. I was telling my fucking boxing, I got a cousin that watches boxing, not MMA. I told him, he came over, his jaw was dropped, he couldn't believe it. We watched the next bare knuckle boxing #2, kept up with some of the dudes from #1. Yo, I'm telling you, it was a fucking family affair, and it was fun as hell, bare knuckle boxing. But then after like the second event, I guess too many dudes got flatlined or something. Maybe somebody got sued. I don't know what happened because they like tried to rename it, and then I kind of lost touch with it. But I think they're back. I don't know. All I know is bare knuckle boxing was legit as fuck. Seismic Shock said, I remember you did a good interview with High Roller Radio Channel a few months ago. How did that happen? Would you do another? Yeah, how did it happen? He just hit me up and asked if I would want to, and I said, yeah, I would. And during, you know, even before and during the interview, he was saying like, you know, yeah, I made a page for you on my website, and you know, I'd love to have you on again, maybe before the next event. And then I was just like randomly on Twitter, you know, it had been like 3, 4, 5 events later, and he hadn't hit me up. like 4 or 5 UFC fights, and like there was somebody else, I seen him post something on Twitter like, check out this guy, me and him just did another MMA interview, and I was like, what the hell? What? You know, it wasn't like no loyalty or nothing thing, but it was just like, so is this the new MMA guy, or do you just have like 3 MMA pages on your website for him, me, and you? So I was just like, I guess that's so much for that. And then I think he might have hit me up after that like, yo, you want to do another one? And I just seen it and didn't really respond. I was like, I mean, I'll do another one if you hit me up. But he just hit me, like, he just shot me a random tweet. I don't even remember how he hit me up, but he never emailed me or anything. It was kind of, I think, a casual message. But I mean, I would do a fucking interview with anybody. I've low-key been surprised one of you guys haven't emailed me and asked to do the next like full-time MMA podcast. I've been waiting. Shit, I don't care. I want to get Felony back on here. I want to get somebody else in the middle between now and Felony. But I mean, it doesn't matter if it could be High Roller Radio, it could be Seismic Shock, or the fucking C-Level DC. Anybody wants to do it, just hit me up, email me. fulltimemma1@gmail.com. MMA Vlogger Real Talk Forum said, full-time MMA, what's the situation with Jon Jones and USADA? Do you think Jon Jones will get away with his failed steroid test? And do you think DC climbed up to Jon Jones' house, went through laser beams, just opened Jon Jones' refrigerator just to do steroids to Jon Jones' protein shake? No, that's not how it happened. I actually know how it happened. If you search up my channel and proof of, you know, that Jon Jones was set up, what happened was Luke Rockhold, one of Daniel Cormier's teammates, he had some fucking jalapeno chips. They were in jalapeno joints, you know, the crunchy ones, the kettle cooked ones. And he fucking, at one of the post-fight press conferences, Jon Jones and Luke Rockhold were fighting on the same card. And he was sharing with Jon Jones. There's 100% picture proof of Jon Jones reaching in Luke Rockhold's chip bag. And what Luke Rockhold did was he pretended like he was eating them and he was really throwing them over his shoulder, tricking Jon Jones like, Jon Jones, you want some of these fucking jalapeno joints? And he had fucking all of it, bro. Turbinol, clomiphene, estrogen blockers, fucking testosterone, all of that shit was in them jalapeno joints. Boom, mission accomplished. DC's the go. What's going on with Jon Jones and USADA? They're trying to clear him, from what I know. They're trying everything they can to get Jon Jones clean, and I don't understand it. It's like, if it was a tainted supplement, go to the store, get the tainted supplement, test it. Was it dirty? It isn't. No. All right, let's take a lie detector test, and then let's just think about every single food we've ate, and then go and fucking put our hand up every single one of those cows' asses and see, you know, what the hell is going on? Like, and it's been so long. It's like by the time they do figure out a way to clear him, it's going to be time served and he's going to be free. But I've been listening to some MMA podcasts and shows and all of that, and they are saying it's looking like Jon Jones is going to get freed sooner rather than later. He's still going to have a minimum suspension because of the neglect, or, you know, whatever. But, you know, because after you get caught once, you're supposed to be super careful with what you put in your body. And so for you to still be reckless, or I don't know, I'm under the impression that they're just trying to work with him because he's a huge star. But I don't think Jon Jones is actually clean. I do not. Personally, that's not what I believe. I believe he's just one of the UFC's cash cows. So they're like, you know, what can we do to get this guy clean? Whenever one of these other people, Jesse Taylor, or, you know, anybody else that has ever recently had a USADA suspension, that's just one of the people I'm thinking of off the top of my head recently. I'm just saying, you don't see like the UFC and USADA coming out for 3, 4, 5 months in a row trying to get these guys cleared. But Jon Jones is a special case. It is what it is. And the crazier part to me is there's so many people that actually like believe Daniel Cormier did climb through his fucking chimney like Santa Claus. You know, he pretended to be Santa Claus on Christmas, came through when the Jones household was asleep, and, you know, instead of eating, he ate the cookies and then sprinkled steroids in the milk and put it back in the fridge. I don't know. It's fucking weird. But free Jon Jones is all I can say. Santino G said, day one hitter. Fuck Oscar. Fuck you, Tab Mac. Dude, let's go. I Bite Bagel said, are you black or Mexican, LMAO? What's up, fool? You finally find out that I'm Mexican, fool? Yeah, no, I'm Mexican. Sometimes I just talk like that. I got a really good English accent, but if you want, I can do the rest of this in Mexican, fool. In just my Mexican accent. I took Español in escuela, but only to escuela Español 2. Español 2 in escuela, fool. So I can only speak Spanish 2 in high school. And then I fucking got kicked out of Spanish 2. And I never took a Spanish 3. But I still picked up a pretty good accent, huh, fool? Yeah, I buy bagel. No, fool, I'm not black or Mexican. I'm biracial. I'm black and white and Puerto Rican and Hawaiian and Asian. I think I'm gonna fuck around and like turn that into a mystery, bro. Because whenever my hair is cut, legit, I've had Mexican people walk up to me. I grew up in like a predominantly Mexican neighborhood, like from 1 to 5. Went to like a Mexican elementary school, but then as an adult, I went to like a Mexican high school. There was a lot of Mexicans and shit, and I legit had people walking up to me speaking in Spanish, like, "Oh, ¿qué pasó, patatoso?" And I'm like, "No, I'm actually not Mexican. That's just the haircut." No, I'll tell you, but I'm about to turn this shit into a mystery, and only you guys are gonna know. I'm half black and half white, but from here on out, it's a fucking mystery. The MMA vlogger Real Talk Forum said, full-time MMA. Don't you think Dana White's full of bullshit? JDR was stripped for not defending, as GDR, was stripped for not defending her belt, 145 belt against Cyborg. Dana White, no champion, can hold a division without defending their belt for more than a year. Conor hasn't defended 2 years. See, this is the thing. I don't think Dana White wants no smoke with the Irish cartel. You strip Conor McGregor and you might have somebody at your motherfucking door. No, I'm just playing. I don't know. But I do see what you're saying. The difference is GDR wasn't a huge star. You know what I'm saying? We've seen the UFC strip other champions too. I mean, it wasn't just GDR that's been stripped, but none of them have been as big as Conor McGregor. And also take into consideration, the UFC has stripped Conor McGregor before. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? They stripped him of the featherweight title. He still had his lightweight title at the time, so maybe he cared a little less. But you have to also think, like, there's logistics and, you know, political shit that can be going on. Like, they can legitimately strip Conor McGregor the day before UFC 223, and they could be being safe right now. As Eddie Alvarez said, you know, what he's referring to is, he said, look, they've already tried to make this fight 3 times, Khabib and Tony. What if they strip Conor McGregor and Tony Ferguson falls out of the fight, or Khabib falls out of the fight? Then you just strip Conor McGregor, your cash cow, for nothing. Now you got Conor pissed off at you, and no lightweight champion. And so they're saying they could be waiting until they make weight. Both fighters make weight to actually strip Conor. That could be going on. There's other talks of maybe it's the UFC 3 video game dropping. Conor McGregor, I believe, and Ronda Rousey were on the cover. Conor's got his 2 belts or something. Maybe they don't want to strip Conor, because how can you strip a champion and then have him holding up 2 belts on the front of your game? That could have something to do with it. It could have something to do with Conor and the UFC's negotiations. Maybe it's, hey, if you agree to fight by this time, we'll let you keep the belt. Now, that doesn't make much sense to me, but that's what Ariel Helwani's been saying. It's like, what? No. Whenever Tony Ferguson fought Kevin Lee for that interim title, the deal was he fights Conor next. Not, oh, now hear me out, because if you tell Khabib and Tony, winner fights Conor, hey, listen, they just told that to Tony and Kevin and it wasn't true. So you can't have these guys fight for an interim when they've both already said they won't fight for an interim. Khabib and his manager has said, we're not fighting for no damn interim title. Tony Ferguson has said, I'm not gonna, he's shown he's not fighting anybody till Conor comes back, defend or vacate. So I do think Dana White and the UFC will strip Conor. It just hasn't came yet for whatever reason, we don't know. But I do see what you're saying. Yes, Conor has went over 420 days. It's probably closer to 450 at this point without defending a title. He's broke the record, and something does have to give sometime soon. So I think it's going to be coming really soon. But yeah, as far as stripping GDR and Conor, there's levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, there is some bullshit there. Little Mr. Scooter said, congrats, man, what's your ethnicity and how old are you? It is a mystery, and I was born in 91, March of 91. I don't know, bro. I quit counting after like 25. I think I'm 26 or 27. I'm pretty sure I'm 26. I'll be 27 in March. What is it? It's February. Holy shit, my birthday's like next month, bro. I don't even think about that shit. Bleak Days said, congrats, been subscribed since you clickbaited me on day 1. Can you repost your MQH2 King Troll video on the full-time MMA 2? Nigga, I didn't clickbait you. I fucking love it. I fucking love it. Bro, on day 1, I said, like, MMA quick hits moved to, MMA fast topics moved to Patreon. Fucking, I'm here though, and I even linked this shit. I think, I don't even remember how that shit went, but no, if you go to the, I have all of that shit still. If you go to the playlist called like full-time flashbacks, you might be able to find it. But if you can't, yeah, I can post any of that to full-time MMA to the channel because I still have all of those old videos saved. I've got a fucking like terabyte fucking drive thingy, and I've got every single video, like barring one or two, that I've ever made. Fucking, so with that being said, I for sure can do that. Bleak Days, thank you very much, good sir. Why So Sauce said, first things first, why don't you pivot anymore? And second, are you going to school or working? If so, doing what? I don't pivot anymore. I'm assuming you're talking about smoking because that shit costs too much money. And now that I'm not as hopeless as I once was, I actually think I should probably start saving money. So saving money so I can invest in my future, which I didn't used to give a fuck about. But now I'm like, hey, I was literally smoking more weed, and I wasn't even smoking fucking high-grade weed, bro, because I smoked so much. I was smoking like a fucking Rasta, like, dog. My half of the rent, like, me and my brother share a place with our girls. My half of the rent, me and my girl's half of the rent was $425. Well, we were spending like $900 a month on weed, literally like double our rent, just smoking all day, just because, like, you know what I'm saying? Well, for whatever reason. And I mean, you'd have to get a fucking psychologist to tell you why, because you know what I'm saying? I quit smoking cigarettes, and I knew that I should, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but we can talk about that on another day on another channel. But I quit smoking to essentially save money for the channel. That way I can, like, instead of having this curtain, maybe have a green screen in the future. Also, you know, I got this computer. I had to take out a payday loan for the Sean O'Malley interview, which didn't even record, but still was completely worth it. So now I've got out like a fucking $600 payday loan that I got to pay back. Boom, 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 boom. So and it wasn't like a permanent thing. It's just I want to quit smoking until I fucking, you know, get out of debt. Like, I paid my brother off when I started the channel. I owed this motherfucker $900 from letting me borrow money last tax season when my fucking car broke down and my dog got parvo. I got all of that paid back. Now I got this computer, but now I got to pay this off. So you know what I'm saying? I'm just working from behind. I ain't got no like family member with money, and I don't know anything about getting a business loan or anything like that. So I'm kind of just having to save up and do that shit myself. That's why I got to quit smoking. But I would love to be able to fucking smoke. Second, are you going to school or working? If so, doing what? Going to school, I was like 2 years ago. I'm like 2 fucking credits away from my 2-year degree. What is that? My bachelor's degree. I went to a community college, fucking 4.0 my last season. What happened was I got on academic probation because it was a truancy thing. You know, it's like, it wasn't like I wasn't going because I didn't want to or nothing. It was just like, okay, I don't need to go to class today because I already had my work done. My grades are caught up, but you know, I'm gonna just sit here and smoke or something. And like, it was a mandatory thing. Like, you could miss 3 days and you wouldn't get kicked out. And since my grades were good, I was like, okay, I'm gonna use 2 of those days. But then, you know what always happens? You miss fucking 2 days, and then something actually happens on the 3rd day. Like, you bullshit the first 2 days, and then there's emergency on the 3rd day. But since it's mandatory, if you miss 3 days, they kick you out the class. So I've like I had to write them back and say, all right, you know, you guys kicked me out because of my attendance, so I'll get a 4.0 if you guys let me come back. I guarantee you this is my only opportunity to better my, you know, to further my education financially. I had to write that letter, you know, to get back in, and they let me in. Got the 4.0 and all of that shit. But then after I got the 4.0, they sent me a letter and said, all right, you're off of academic probation. You're good now. So I went back to my ways, like, well, all I got to do is, you know, I can miss 2 days, and even if I get suspended, I'll just write them a letter and get back on. Well, come to find out, they like skipped academic probation and went straight to suspension. So now, in order for me to get back and get my last credit, I have to like pay them back $2,000 or $3,000. So as of right now, for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been a college dropout, but it's not like I couldn't pass it or anything. I'm just fucking, it was an attendance thing, and I didn't think they were gonna kick me all the way out. I thought they were just gonna like put me on probation, but they kicked me all the way out, and I didn't have the money to cover it to get back in. So I'm in that boat right there. So I do work. I am a motherfucking custodian. If you look up full-time MMA, take your channel to work day. Yeah, I'm a custodian for essentially public offices. So on holidays and shit, I can't work. I don't get paid for it because I'm just like a substitute or like an independent contractor, if you will. So what I do is, yeah, vacuum offices, fucking wipe off tables in the summers, wax the floors, fucking we wax the floors. We gotta do all type of shit. I mean, change the lights. Like, essentially in the summer, you turn into a maintenance man when the people aren't in the businesses. But during office hours and shit, you just fucking do normal master of the custodial arts work. But yeah, go check out that video. Take your fucking channel to work day, and you'll fucking see. With that being said, we are going to Robert Pyers. Hey, and by the way, check out Full-Time Toilet Cleaner. That motherfucker. I got a couple fans out here, bro. Robert Pyers said, "Are you a wrestling fan? Do you mean like WWE?" Not really. I used to be as a kid, and if you're talking about the other type of wrestling, I didn't even know that they showed that stuff on TV. I didn't like wrestle in high school, so like I don't even know where you can watch that stuff. But yeah, I've never really just watched the other type of wrestling aside from the Olympics. Robert Pyers said, "Do you think the UFC will decline if Conor McGregor leaves?" I mean, maybe for a year, but I don't think they're gonna, like, decline. Yes, like they're gonna take a hit, but they're not gonna fold, or they're not gonna go anywhere. They're not gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? They're still gonna grow, but they're gonna take a little bit of a hit. Michael Van Gerwenson, "Congrats, brother, growing fast. Hashtag Fook Oscar, hashtag Fook the other side." And my question is, your hopes for your YouTube channel, like how many subs you want to get, or are you going to see what happens? And thanks for keeping up to date on my MMA shit. Yo, that's a fucking amazing question, because you say I'm growing fast, and actually, I mean, if you take into consideration some other relatively smaller channels, I am. But there's other channels that are growing way faster, but they're in different genres. Like, there's a guy named DJ Ghost that I've just checked out a little bit before I even had a channel. And, like, he's had his channel for a year, and he's working on 300,000 subs. At this rate, I'll be at, like, 10K. You know, now, 4,000 subs in 7 months is really good. Some people don't get 4,000 subs in, you know, 2 years. So, I'm doing relatively, you know, really good. But I have more potential. That's what I've been starting to feel like. Like, yo, I'm in the door, I'm doing my thing, I'm a YouTuber now, but now I'm starting to see other potential and possibilities. And my nephew, fucking part-time microwave, like literally every day since I started, has did nothing but ask me about a silver play button. Like, "Oh, how far away are you from your silver play button? Oh, you're a YouTuber, how far away from your silver play button?" And that's 100,000 subscribers. So I'm 96,000 away right now. But as I said, like, I don't have any goals for this channel. I mean, it's just MMA. I don't want to grow too fast. I've thought about, like, I could go the wrong way and just start actually clickbaiting shit and talking shit. And, you know, like, if you watch Snoop Dogg do commentary on the Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender series, that shit was borderline disrespectful. And I don't even commentary like that. Like that, the UFC broadcasted, you know, and a lot of people, of course, had their opinions on it. But, like, you know, I've had that, like, I could be, like, the super troll, like, "Oh, this guy just got knocked the fuck out. You shouldn't be in the UFC. Like, I could do that just for the hype. And I realized being a bad guy sells. But I don't know if that's me, if I want to be that guy. Like, I don't want to take the Chael Sonnen, Colby Covington route of MMA commentary, like beef with other YouTube channels for fun, just because I know it sells. Like, I've thought about that, just like, because I've told you, like, just to grow, just because I know the potential and the possibilities. But I don't want to do that. So I've just been thinking, like, maybe another channel, gaming channel, reaction channel. A lot of different things coming, man. But yeah, all I know is I want a silver play button to get for my nephew when all is said and done. Other than that, I don't have any goals, plans, shooting for the stars. Like, I think I've got the potential to take over the motherfucking game. As far as, if you know who DJ Academics is, he does this for hip hop. And, you know, the Complex News is, and the Double XL, all those old publications, you know, really ain't got shit on the new platform, the new media, the YouTubers. And so, like, I'm one of the only people doing that right now for MMA on YouTube. So, I mean, I know the potential of that, but at the same time, with MMA, it's just, MMA is a way smaller niche than, like, fucking hip-hop. There's a lot less people looking. Not to mention the people that are looking for MMA are probably looking for actual fucking fighters, or people that are going to tell them how to fucking cross their left with their right hook, and their fucking, you know, the Luke Thomas breakdowns and the Dan Hardy breakdowns. And I'm definitely not ever going to be doing that. I'm just here to fucking do some comedic aspects and keep up with the news. So I know I've got a place, but I don't know how fast that can grow. So I don't know. I'm looking at all the other options and shit, man. Anything to help, you know, fucking, you know what I'm saying? Upgrade, man. Constantly upgrade. So yeah, I'm looking at all the options, man. Jordan Walsh said, congrats on 4K subs. Thank you very much, Jordan Walsh. Jordan Walsh, how do you think Nate Diaz stacks up against the whole lightweight division? I think he's a top 10 guy right now, but it depends. Nate Diaz is a boxing and jiu-jitsu guy, so if he fights somebody like a super hard hitter, you know, he's got the potential to get clipped up, but at the same time, his boxing is so good. Like, when I say a super hard hitter, I'm thinking of somebody that's got the potential to clip him up and actually knock him out. But it's Nate Diaz. He doesn't get knocked out that often. And, you know, I'm talking about like a Conor McGregor at lightweight. Now, he fought Conor McGregor twice at welterweight, but that's a different story. Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor at lightweight, I think Conor McGregor's got a really, really, really good matchup. But Nate Diaz fared well against Conor at welterweight, so it's hard to say that. But, Nate Diaz, I don't know, a really strong wrestler is a bad matchup for Nate Diaz. So who would that be? I don't think Nate Diaz stacks up well against Tony Ferguson or Kevin Lee. But, I mean, a lot of the guys he actually is fine against. You know what I'm saying? Nate Diaz isn't a guy that when you put him on paper looks like the best fighter, according to a lot of the top lightweights on the planet. Like, if you took Nate Diaz versus Khabib, you're picking Khabib. If you took Nate Diaz versus Tony, you're going to probably say Tony unless you know you're a Diaz fan or a Diaz teammate or something. You pick Nate Diaz versus Edson, in your head you're thinking Edson. But Nate Diaz can beat fucking anybody, so I don't know. And I don't know if you're talking about Nate Diaz in his prime or Nate Diaz right now who hasn't fought since 202. I just want to see Nate Diaz get back in there. Jordan Walsh said, what's the biggest fight you are pumped for in 2018? And keep in mind, though, I want to see Nate Diaz get back in there, but I completely understand what he's doing and going through right now as far as he's got leverage probably for the first time in his career. Usually he's got to do what the UFC says. He don't have the money. You know, he's fighting for money, whatever. Now he's got the leverage. He's got money. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. So if I was Nate Diaz, I would probably be waiting on Conor too. But I'm just a fan and a YouTuber, so I want to see Nate Diaz fight. But I get where he's coming from. Jordan Walsh said the biggest fight you're pumped for in 2018 so far. Ooh, it's out of UFC 226, bro. It's out of DC and Stipe and TJ and DJ. I want to see Cyborg Nunes, and like the fucking rooting for the underdog in me really wants to get behind Team Nunes. But it's just been, it would just be so hard to pick her. Even though I really want to jump on the Team Nunes bandwagon, the cardio thing, like, Cyborg's even got better cardio, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with Nunes, and she had a lot better cardio than people gave her credit for. She worked on it. She did her thing versus Valentina at 135 in their most recent fight. She got a takedown in the 5th round. People thought Amanda Nunes would be gassed out by the 5th round, and she arguably won the 5th round. So Amanda Nunes' cardio is way better than it used to be, a la when she fought like a Kat Zingano or even Valentina in the first fight. But I still got to rock with probably Cyborg in that fight, which is why I would be more pumped for TJ DJ or DC Stipe, because I just don't know who's winning the TJ DJ Stipe. You motherfuckers see that? All on the same card, all champions. TJ DJ Stipe. Motherfucking, that rhymed way too much. For the same card. You know how many times we're gonna, yo, y'all ready for UFC 226? DC Stipe TJ DJ? Alright, let's fucking scroll up, dog. Zach Cohen, you rock, brother. Great show. Here's my question. Darren Till, the next hype train, right? So he fought Nicholas Dalby a few years back. I went and watched that fight like 3 days ago on Fight Pass. You said and got a tie because the 3rd round Till very nearly lost. Till said his shoulder dislocated in the 3rd, but he still threw solid punches throughout the last round. So was he fibbing a bit? So I'm thinking as well, somebody almost beat Till. Where is he? Answer. He was released last year, 14-2 record, though he didn't want to leave. So my question is, why the hell was he let go? Never having been stopped in a fight. If he's the only one to ever give Till hell, must watch it. I watched the fight. Why isn't he around today for a rematch? Confused in Israel. I feel like the UFC got rid of him to put a blemish on the Till hype train. Your thoughts? Thanks for all the hard work and keep it up. Now, you definitely have your tinfoil hat on, but I feel you because I'm one of the people that completely understands a lot of that shit, the politics. Like when I say I understand it, I mean I just get where they could come from. Like, I don't think it's completely asinine to believe the UFC might make a move, a political move toward a fighter. Now, with that being said, did the UFC get rid of Dalby to put a blemish on the Till hype train? I don't know why they would do that. You know what I'm saying? Why would the UFC want to blemish their own future cash cow? You know, he was undefeated. Dalby at that point was undefeated. When Dalby and Till, and I did watch the fight recently, when Dalby and Till fought, they were both undefeated. Dalby did win the 3rd round, but I've got to admit, I don't know how many solid punches you can say he threw in the 3rd round, because he was really getting beat up for the majority of the... Darren Till was on his back for a majority of the 3rd round, almost getting finished. In the 1st and 2nd round, at the end of the 1st and 2nd round, Darren Till almost knocked Dalby out. End of the 1st round, a la TJ Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt. At the end of the 1st round, Darren Till would have won the fight. Nicholas Dalby was saved by the bell. At the end of the 2nd round, Darren Till also knocked him down with that big fucking like uppercut to the fucking jaw thing. Like, Darren Till looked really good in the 1st and 2nd round. That's why it was still probably a draw, because yes, the 3rd round could have been a 10-8 for Nicholas Dalby, but it makes sense if you consider his arm or shoulder was like dislocated at that point. I completely believe it, because at that, like, it wasn't like he looked like gassed out. He couldn't get up off of his back, and that just didn't seem normal for Darren Till, who's the bigger fighter. It wasn't like Nicholas Dalby was controlling him with the grappling in the 1st and the 2nd round. So it made sense at the end of the fight whenever Darren Till said that his shoulder was dislocated. Like, okay, that's why he couldn't get up off the ground. So going into that fight, I was thinking what you were thinking. Like, cause I was telling myself, like, how is this a draw? Cause I had only watched the 1st half of the fight. I was at work one day, but after you watch the whole fight, man, I don't know. I see what you're saying, but I don't know why the UFC would want to put a blemish on Darren Till's hype train. He didn't have a hype train at that point. And Nicholas Dalby, as far as being 14-2, he went on to lose, I believe, an arguable fight next, but he lost one of his fights was unanimous decision. Now, I don't know why the UFC would get rid of a guy that was 14-2 and has a split with Darren Till, and that wasn't even his first UFC fight. That's all something we would need insider information on. But as far as that fight goes, I believe Darren Till was injured in that 3rd round as far as what I've seen, because he wasn't able to get up at all. Like, it makes sense. So with that being said, I see what you're saying, and if you haven't went and watched Darren Till versus Nicholas Dalby, maybe some of you guys will on Fight Pass, and you can let Zach Cohen know what you think. But those are my thoughts. I did go back and watch the fight, and Darren Till could have finished Dalby in the 1st and 2nd round, but it was right at the end of the round. So, good fight. Definitely a good fight, and I believe it got fight of the night. Jordan Walsh said, and Darren Till still showed so much like promise in that fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was still the Darren Till, the confident Darren Till, trying to get his fucking Muay Thai off and fuck Dalby up in the first 2 rounds. And if you remember, I believe after that Dalby fight, he took a year off because he was injured. He took a while off after that Dalby fight to heal up that injury. He came back from the Dalby fight and went on that 3-fight winning streak before he fought Cowboy. But he took some time off after that Dalby fight. Go check it out. I'm telling you, he took legitimate like a year off after that Dalby fight to heal up from that injury. So, yeah, Darren Till is my fucking guy. And yeah, so next question. Jordan Walsh said, should Conor be considered the GOAT if he beats Tony or Khabib? Greatest fighter of all time? No, I don't think so. If he beats Khabib, I'll say yes. Tony, yes. Oh, that's so fucking hard of a question. That's such a hard question, man. If he beats Khabib, I would have to say yes, because you could say he's been tested by every fucking style. People used to say Conor can't be the GOAT. You know, the UFC protected him a little bit with wrestlers on his way up, which was arguably true until Chad Mendes, which took the fight on short notice. So there's just a lot of like question marks on his resume. You know, when you look at his resume and you see the Dennis Sievers of the world and stuff, it's a lot different when you look at like a, you know, John Jones, Daniel Cormier, a Demetrius Johnson resume, arguably. Some people don't put respect on the flyweight division, but I do. When I look at Demetrius Johnson's resume and I see fucking Olympic wrestler Henry Cejudo, and I see Joseph Benavidez, who's like fought 30 fights in multiple divisions, 25 and 35, and only lost to Demetrius Johnson, arguably Cejudo. But when I look at John Dodson, who's fought at 35, knocked out TJ Dillashaw, moved down to 25, and Demetrius beat him, I think a lot of the fighters at 125, those names, are better than people give him credit for. So Demetrius Johnson's resume is impressive. John Jones has beat legends of the sport, very impressive. The problem with Conor is he hasn't beat too many like legends like that. Like, he beat Max Holloway, before he, before his 10-fight winning streak when Max Holloway was a baby, but he still has that win now. But Conor McGregor didn't like beat Max in his prime, or he never like cleared out a division. That's another thing. Would you say a GOAT could clear out a division? But if he does beat Khabib, you can say he could beat every lightweight. It's not, if Conor McGregor beats Khabib or Tony Ferguson, that's like clearing out the division, kinda. It's not the same thing as actually beating everybody, but Tony Ferguson has beat everybody. You beat Tony, you can, it makes sense for Conor to not have to because he's got so much money. Conor McGregor's got millions, tens of hundreds of millions of dollars, so no, he's not going to be clearing out a division. But if he can just beat the top dogs, I think that should actually be enough. If Conor beats, Eddie Alvarez and then Khabib, yeah, he's probably the GOAT, one of the greatest of all times. And it's hard for me to say the greatest, but still, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's going to be one that you're never right or wrong on. There's going to be some people that say yes, some people that say no. But to me, if he beats Tony or Khabib, I might have to say yes, but it's still fucking super hard. Jordan Walsh said, if you were to pick only one super fight to happen out of Cyborg Amanda, TJ DJ, Stipe DC, who would you pick and why? Stipe DC. Because DC was undefeated at heavyweight. He's actually got something to lose. Whenever DJ goes down to fight TJ, or whenever TJ goes down to fight DJ, he doesn't have anything to lose. He's not losing this belt. He doesn't care about his fucking flyweight record. And Demetrius Johnson, everybody knows, didn't want to go up and fight him. He had to fucking cut weight, sacrifice, to somewhere he's never fought. So, like, that's the thing about TJ and DJ. If DJ was going up, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Amanda and Cyborg. Amanda Nunes isn't really risking anything there. I love the fights, but I'm just saying, like, what has the most on the line? So what I pick, DC Stipe, 100%. There's the biggest weight gap there. DC's going up to fight for another belt, but he's still putting a lot on the line. Putting his undefeated heavyweight resume on the line. Putting his not losing to anybody not named John Jones on the line. And Stipe's putting his belt on the line. Putting a heavyweight losing to a light heavyweight on the line. There's the most at risk. And the most is on the line in that Stipe DC fight. So that's the one I'll take. Slacker said, congrats full time. I got 3 random questions for you. Do you think Ben Askren could have been dominant if he had competed in the UFC? Yes, because very, very dominant wrestlers are usually dominant. I mean, I do think he could have been, but I don't know if it was politics or his fighting style or what. The UFC just didn't want it. Even Bellator got rid of Ben Askren, if I'm not mistaken. Who's your favorite character / storyline in Game of Thrones? Oh my God. What a question. What's the status update on the Full-Time Felony podcast? Keep up the good work. Favorite character in storyline in Game of Thrones? Holy shit. Now, this is going to be an interesting answer. My favorite storyline and character. I mean, of course, Jon Snow was one of them. But he's not my personal favorite. But if I were to go with, like, the fucking mainstream characters, I guess you would say it would probably be Jon Snow. I like to root for the underdog. He's always counted out. He's the fucking bastard. He's the fucking got the Snow nickname. I like that type of shit. But I also am very fond of, what's the guy's name? The bald dude that, like, has all the information. Varys, maybe? I don't know his name. I like the dwarf, too. But I like that bald dude that, like, knows all the secrets and shit. Like, and he fucking is, like, everybody's advisor. Like, I think the information is power, and that dude's got all of it. So I really think that dude's a really cool character. So it would be out of him and Jon Snow and the dwarf guy. The dwarf guy, of course, is super fucking cool. The best storyline? I don't know what you mean by that. Like, oh, okay, well, there's a lot of fucking storyline stuff. Man, the whole Stark family thing was just so crazy. Like, that shit was just fucking mind-blowing. That Stark storyline was mind-blowing. That one shit was cruel. I don't know my favorite storyline. I'd probably just say the Stark stuff to get back to the topic. But I mean, I was gonna say that one with that crazy ass dude where he was fucking torturing Sansa, like made him that nigga was crazy, feeding people to his dogs. Woo, that nigga was crazy. Window B said, so what's up with, oh wait, back to the last question, the status update on Full Time Felony podcast. Honestly, man, that would be really hard to do at the moment in time. I mean, Felony's a guy that's kind of hard to get in touch with as far as, and I think he has a business manager. I don't know who it is, but like even just scheduling that one was kind of difficult. Plus now, he's got these fights coming up. He's going to be going to Russia. And honestly, it's been mentioned to him, you know, like multiple times in live streams and stuff. And, you know, if he was more receptive to it when someone said it or something, I might be more persistent about it. But I don't know. It is what it is, man. I would like to talk to him again. But as far as like a weekly podcast, I think it'd be dope. But I don't know. It'd be really super hard to pull off. Maybe if I had fucking better equipment or something. And, you know, it's hard on my end. And then it's super hard on his end. So until I'm like even better set up, I probably shouldn't even try and like, I mean, it'd be cool, but I don't even know if he's receptive to it. And like right now, my phone that I'm using, my cell phone, I don't have the bill paid right now, so I can receive calls, but I can't place calls. And like it's an old ass phone, so I don't even use it for social media really. I use my phone. I get on Facebook sometimes on there. But like as far as I need a better phone for the channel, for Twitter, for Instagram, all of that shit. I don't even have Instagram on my shitty phone. So until I can even get a decent phone, I don't feel like I should probably be trying to do a fucking national podcast with a guy that's hard to get in touch with kind of already. So in the future, all of that is a possibility. But as of right now, the Full Time Felony podcast, I don't know. It's not going to be up next week. That's all I can say. But I still fucking love that idea and want to do it. Now, pause. Window B said, what's up with Sober 2018? You didn't made it to half January. I started Sober 28. I was trying to look down here at the date. I don't remember the day that fucking I smoked. I smoked one day on the channel. I think it might have been when that stuff got, I don't remember. I smoked one day on the channel, and that was like breaking it. I've smoked twice in 2018. I mean, 3 times if you count like one time with my mom, but not a lot. Like what I used to be doing, bro, it was ridiculous. Like every day, all day. But Sober 2018's been going better than fucking I would have expected. But I still had a couple slip-ups, but it is what it is. I don't really give a fuck. And I ain't that fucking strict. I ain't about to go fucking beat myself because I slipped up twice. Still saving money, man, which was the whole goal. So I made it. I started it back up. I didn't make it to half of January, but it is what it is, man. Who knows? I might get a fucking another interview with Sean O'Malley. He might get a crazy KO at UFC 222 or even before. I might have to fucking smoke one time for that if I can, possibly if I find, you know what I'm saying? So who knows? Window B, but good question. MMA Vlogger said, MMA Vlogger Real Talk Forum said, Full Time MMA, could you do a reaction video of Rich Piana? Possibly. I'll check it out in a little bit. I mean, if I do that, I'll probably have to make like a reaction channel until I like with the small picture that you see right now. A reaction channel is supposed to be me on the big picture and that in the small picture, like whatever I'm reacting to. And until I get the fucking funds to buy a video editing program, I'm telling you, I'm starting from the bottom, guys. I don't have none of the shit I need, and we're still working on it. But there's a video. I used to be able to use Windows Movie Maker on my laptop, which is why I have to like use a flash drive every time I make a video and transfer it from computer to computer to computer to computer, because I don't have a video editing maker on this computer, and it costs like $50 or something, and I don't have that to spend on the maker, video editing maker right now. So once I get that bought, I'll start doing more reaction videos, but I got to slow down on the reaction videos to be careful from these copyright strikes, which I haven't got yet, luckily. MMA Vlogger Real Talk Forum said, do you think DC has a better chance against Stipe or John Jones? Stipe, he doesn't have a chance against John Jones. And if you're talking about clean John Jones, no fucking dick pills, no crazy Chinese cocaine, I got DC. But I don't know if we've ever seen that. So, Stipe, I guess? Do I have a fucking drink, bro? I am thirsty. God damn. Alright. Holy fuck, how many more questions we got? Not too many. Alright. MMA Vlogger said, don't you think Mark Hunt deserves a title shot if he can beat his next opponent? I think Mark Hunt will get a KO victory. His chin is rock solid and he's not getting knocked out that fast. Deserves a title shot if he knocks out Curtis Blades? No, because you've still got Fabricio Verdum, who deserves a title shot. Fabricio Verdum is in line over him. So yeah, Mark Hunt, and hey, he beat Derek Lewis, but before that, didn't he lose? I mean, Mark Hunt, as far as who he is as a person, sure, I would love to see Mark Hunt fight for the title. But as far as earning it, I mean, he'd probably have to fight a Francis Ngannou or Alistair Overeem. Yeah, that's who he lost to. Mark Hunt just got knocked out by Alistair Overeem before he fought Derek Lewis. And then Derek Lewis fight, he said he had the back injury, which take a little stock off the win. So if he knocks out Curtis Blades, it would be impressive. But I don't think you're going to get a title shot in the UFC with the knockout of Curtis Blades, especially if you're suing the UFC. And Curtis Blades, very, very talented heavyweight, not a big name. So, you know, you can't go tell the microwave, oh, Mark Hunt just fucking knocked out Curtis Blades. He's going to say, who knocked out who? You know what I'm saying? So, I see, I want to see Mark Hunt get a title shot, but I don't think he's going to get one. Even if he knocks the guy out in 7 seconds, he won't get a title shot. Congratulations, I remember when Quick Tits left us hanging with no content. Thanks for keeping the MMA community updated on MMA related news. You're the best. Keep up the good work. Much appreciated. Alright, let's go up. MMA Vloggers Talk has another question. MMA Vlogger Real Talk Forum said, the UFC needs to add more weight divisions. Think about it. Here is 4 reasons. More title fights, more pay-per-view with actual title fights, more champion versus champions, more options for fighters. I agree, but you don't want to do too much. I'm fine with a weight class every 10 pounds, but I don't want to see one every 6 or 7 pounds. There's too many fucking people to keep track of. Part of the reason I'm not super excited about boxing, there's so much WBCs and WBOs and WLRs. Is that where did they start like MMA, bro? Is that what's happening to MMA with all of these XFLs and TFRs and Bellators and LFAs and TFOs? Like, and now more weight classes and more weight classes. I think that's going to dilute the sport too much, but maybe not, maybe not. When I started watching boxing, it was already well established, and I was a kid as a casual fan, so I just never fucking was super into it. But maybe people will. I mean, I know right now if MMA added new weight classes, I would be up on it as a hardcore fan, but I don't know if that turns away the casual audience. I don't know. Interesting. Benzine said, would wrestle fucking disappear if headbutts, elbows to the back of the head, and knees on the ground were allowed? Headbutts, I don't know. If shots to the back of the head were allowed, fuck yeah. And knees on the ground, fuck yeah. You'd see probably a lot more striking. Motherfuckers wouldn't be shooting for takedowns if they, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I do think wrestle fucking may disappear if that was the case, but it might not. It might not if you're a wrestler, you know what I'm saying? Because they can do it as well. If they can knee you on the ground, they'll probably just try and take you down, eat a couple shots to the back of the head while they fucking knee you out. I don't know. I think it might just turn it into a more violent sport. Who knows? But really, I mean, it is what it is. But wrestle fucking, I think wrestle fucking would disappear if the scoring system was changed, right? If you didn't just get rewarded for being on top of a guy, maybe, or takedowns. You know what I'm saying? If you just take a guy down and you can't keep him there, or you don't do any damage off of it, so yeah, you got to take down, but oh well, you didn't do nothing with it. Like, oh, now you took him down again, yeah, but you didn't do nothing. You know, either the only way to like really get rid of it would be like to change, or the gloves. You know how people say like right now you have grappler friendly gloves, and that's why people get poked in the eyes a lot when they reach out because they're grappler friendly gloves. Fucking make it striker friendly gloves. I don't know, but I don't think wrestle fucking is even as much of a problem as it used to be. Now, you see it occasionally, like a la Stipe, Francis Ngannou. I know a lot of people hate when I say that, but I'm just joking. First round was actually really good if you go back and watch the fight, and Francis landed a lot of big shots. But wrestle fucking, I don't know, man. As long as wrestling, I don't think it's going to go anywhere in MMA because it's mixed martial arts. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the fucking aspects of martial arts now, wrestling. There's a lot of guys that just have boxing and jiu-jitsu, and it's not enough because, yeah, you can be as talented as you want on jiu-jitsu, but if you're a guy with boxing and jiu-jitsu and you fight a kickboxer, you're probably going to lose because you can't get the fight to the ground, and now they've got kicks and punches when all you can do is punch them. So I think wrestling is definitely necessary, which means it will never disappear. And wrestle fucking isn't really like an actual term unless somebody's not had the, if you're fucking wrestling a guy and you're just holding him down, you can call it wrestle fucking. But usually the referees now do a good job of saying you have to work, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe the referees have to change. One of these fucking Brooklyn or New York cards, the referees were not let. If you weren't working for a finish, you would get stood up every 7 seconds. Do you guys remember that card recently? Every 7 seconds they were standing up the fighters the whole night. Work for a finish, work for a finish, work for a finish. I couldn't believe it. I haven't seen it since then. That was like a one-night thing. But if the whoever controlled the referees told them, hey, they need to be working for a finish or they need to be getting stood up, you know what I'm saying? That might help. But then the GSPs of the world and stuff might not exist. Who knows? Who knows? Jorge One said, would Shevchenko stand a chance with Cyborg? Fuck no. I'm sorry to all of you Shevchenko fans that are just die hard for the bullet. I love Valentina Shevchenko. I'm a Shevchenko fan, but I am not a stan. So I will not say that she has a chance against Cyborg. She just got lost to Amanda Nunes for the second time. Now you're going to put her in there versus a bigger fighter? Come on, bro. She's fighting at 125. That's like asking, does Joanna have a chance against Amanda Nunes? Like, sure, no. You know, that's why I just think that's why there's weight classes. You're talking about going up 2 weight classes now. And, you know, he said, did I already ask this? I thought I did. Can't find a smoke 2 joints. I smoke 2 joints. When I wake up, then I ask a question and smoke 2 more. Hey, South Park Mexican, anybody? I don't think she stands a chance with Cyborg because she didn't beat Nunes. I mean, it was a rematch, and you know, this is how I feel about rematches. If you lost the first fight, you got to go in there and win the second fight. You got to go in there and earn it. You can't be sitting back. You can't backpedal. You got to take the victory. Same thing with Wonderboy Woodley. He's the champion. You didn't win the first fight. You're getting your second opportunity. You got to come in here and win the fight. Ain't no close ones. You got to win the fight. Same with fucking Valentina. You lost the first fight. A lot of people feel like you could have won if it was longer. Well, now you got the 5 rounds. So you got to come beat Amanda Nunes. You got to come take this title. Some people felt like it was close and Valentina should have won. That's not enough. This was your rematch. This was your second chance. You got to take it. So if Valentina had a chance versus Cyborg, she would have probably even went to 145 rather than 125. But the fact that Valentina went to 125 should let you know. If Valentina wanted to fight Cyborg, that's a free. Oh, she can have it. The UFC has been looking for chicks to fight Cyborg. So if you're going to give us this skilled ass Valentina Shevchenko, who has a good chance, if Valentina felt like it, she would have probably fought Cyborg by now. But no, I don't even really know. Maybe it's just, I don't know if you're asking that from your personal, because I've seen that question before. I think I was listening to CHS coach, what's his name? I want to remember his name. CHS Combat Sports coach. I'm just going to call him coach. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Fucking coach's channel, and they were talking about Valentina Shevchenko in there. Is it, I don't want to say Edmund. It's not Edmund. Edwin, what's his fucking name? Damn, I'm mad. I'll come up off the top of my head. CHS Combat Sports on YouTube. And they were talking about that, and I think somebody asked, would Shevchenko stand a chance with Cyborg in there? I just don't see it. And I know that that's like the Shevchenko fan club and stuff, but I love Valentina Shevchenko. I think she's even #1 pound for pound on the planet. I just don't think she beats Cyborg. Morris Moore said, congrats on 4,000. Keep it up. Good work. Thank you very much, Morris Moore. What do you think will win between the Snake and Mighty Mouse? I got Mighty Mouse at 125, and I got the Snake at 135. But since this fight's going to happen at 125, I got Demetrius. Let's go, full-time family. Congrats, says Nathan Woodley. No relation to Tyron Woodley? Who knows? Either way, thank you very much, good sir. Congratulations, full-time family. Let's keep rocking. DJ K said, I still can't believe you aren't 20K by now. Much love and congrats. I know, bro. I'm telling you. Like, I know we're growing fast, but we could be growing faster. I'm a pretty fucking talented, funny guy, if I must say so myself. But I think that's got to do with, think about it. Like, for one, I come from, like, most people in the fucking MMA community especially, they don't come from where I come from. They don't relate to me and type of shit. So I'm not gonna draw in a lot of people just because I'm funny and shit to some people. Cause I'm just gonna turn off a lot of people. Oh, you don't fight MMA, bro? You're fucking chubby, bro? Like, do you even fucking do jits, bro? Like, no, dog, I'm funny and I keep up with the news and I pay attention and do research, though. Like, come on, dog, you know? But it is what it is, so that's why I might not grow as fast here as I might in another doing reaction channels or streaming or doing gaming or anything else. So that's why, as long as we're always going to have full-time MMA, but I think my real potential is going to come when I start, like, a channel that's one of those three things. But I think that will grow faster. We're still growing fast compared especially to a lot of MMA channels. Like, we don't have the subscribers to show it because we're so new. We're at 4,000 subs, but I'm telling you, go to your favorite fucking YouTube channel, MMA YouTube channel, and check out their views, and then check out mine. That's all I'm saying. So we got the views to show for it, but the subscribers, those take a little bit longer. And that's how it was with me, though. When bro, I'm not even subscribed to my favorite YouTube channels. Some of them I am, but I watch the videos and then I'm on with my motherfucking day. I don't hit subscribe all the time unless it's somebody that I'm really trying to support. Sometimes I'm, you know, even my fucking dog DJ Academics, Complex News, I watch their shit all the time. I ain't hit subscribe yet. I don't know why. Them niggas don't, I don't feel like they need it. I actually need the subscription, but either way, they probably do too. You get the point, bro. So there's probably a lot of people that are listening that haven't even hit subscribe, and they probably ain't gonna hit subscribe after they hear this. How do we get hooked up with Limit Hoko Genetics? Best ways to go to his Instagram page. That's what is linked in every single one of my videos, and hit him up on Instagram. Now, recently he did say his Instagram got hater flagged and it should be up Friday, and it's past Friday, so it might be back up. But yeah, so hit him up on Instagram, and that's the best way, to my knowledge. MMA from the Heartland. Do you think Conor could be going the similar path as Rousey? Like taking so much time off and returning to an evolved sport, the longer it goes, the more chance it has. I thought you were going to go the WWE route there. I was going to say, you know, lose a couple times and go to fucking WWE. He's got a real chance of going to the WWE next. That's what I think Conor's got a real chance of. I mean, he's already larger than life MMA. I mean, if he, you know what I'm saying? Why not go the Ronda Rousey way before you lose twice? If you just lose one more time, fuck it, I'm done with MMA. I might do an appearance in boxing. I might do an appearance in WWE. Think about that. If Conor McGregor does an appearance in WWE, he will be at the pinnacle of all combat sports. The nigga was at the top of boxing, top of MMA, top of WWE. He's literally like, we all love Conor, and you know, because he came from our sport. But I don't think the feeling is mutual. I don't think Conor McGregor loves fucking mixed martial arts necessarily as much as he loves money. You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like he's transcended the sport. And if he was just a guy that was doing it for the respect of the sport and all of that, which he's clearly not, he would have, you know what I'm saying, fought one of these I mean, there's just a lot of things that might be happening differently, but it is what it is. He's fucking Conor McGregor. I do think he could take a similar path as Rousey. But I mean, it ain't even so much as the sport evolving while he's gone. The sport was kind of evolved when he was here. Tony Ferguson and Khabib have been around ever since he's been a lightweight. He's just been out, so he hasn't even had to really fight him. Ronda Rousey's a little bit different, you know what I'm saying? Ronda Rousey, the women's division when Ronda Rousey came around was kind of brand new, and you know, it wasn't around. The division Conor's in has been around. These guys have been evolving. If you listen to Chael Sonnen, he'll tell you, you know, a lot of Ronda Rousey's competition was subpar, and they knew, you know, she was kind of built up. She didn't, when she actually started fighting the best fighters in the world, you saw what happened both times, Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like, this is my question to you. Do you think that there's any chance Ronda and Rousey and Conor McGregor were hype jobs? Now, when I say hype jobs, I don't mean all the way 100% no skill. I mean, is there any chance that they were over-promoted or overblown a little bit? Maybe paved their ways a little bit. If there's a possibility of that, then I'll say yes, he can go the same road as Ronda Rousey, because Conor doesn't want to be exposed, whether, you know what I'm saying? That would hurt your whole brand. It almost happened in the Nate Diaz fight. But now Conor McGregor's being smarter and I'm also like, I don't know. Like, this is all just things I would have to think about. But I'm also curious. What do you think about this? Hear me out. Do you think Conor McGregor's taking all this time off because he doesn't want to lose again necessarily. You know, when you lose to Nate Diaz, you say new weight class, inefficient with energy, you got a good excuse. But if you lose again, do you have a good excuse? You know what I'm saying? You know, so maybe Conor's not fighting because you can't recover from another loss and it's not smart. And you know what I'm saying? You can't control it. So I don't know, man. But he definitely could take the similar path as Ronda Rousey. MMA from the Heartland said, let's go 4K. I'm so happy for you, bro. You earned it, though. Hard work and dedication. Let's go 4 milli. 4 milli. I don't even think UFC has 4 million subscribers. That's pretty crazy, huh? No, I think they might. But still, yeah, much appreciated. Eric Cortez said, where are you from, bro? I am from the mean streets of Kansas. That's where I was fucking born and raised in, like, Kansas. Like, as a kid, from, like, 6 to 11, I was, like, state to state to state to state to state. Like, Denver for 6th grade, Houston for 7th grade, back to Kansas for 9th, fucking... I mean, you know, like, I moved around as a kid, but as an adult, back to where I haven't really left Kansas. I've been to, like, Kansas City, Overland Park, but other than that, yeah, not really left here. Straight in fucking Kansas. That's another part of what I've been saying, starting from the very bottom. Do you guys realize the first time I get on a fucking plane, you guys are gonna know about it? Like, first time I've never been on a plane, there's so much shit I've even never done, not to mention the shit that I gotta do for the channel. Like, hey man, sounds fun to me. I mean, I'm down. MMA from the Heartland said, bro, this is definitely wishful thinking, but tell me what you think. If Edgar fights Max after he beats Ortega during the Jeremy Stephens, and during that Stephens beats Emmett in Orlando, do you think Jeremy could be in a position to get a title fight? Both Max and Frankie would be rematches, so do you think that could get him the shot, or do you think they'd make him fight one more fight and build a win streak? In my opinion, if you ever had a shot or is going to be able to have a shot at the title, this is it. There isn't any more time for another run. He's too old. Thanks, full time. 400K next year. Let's see. If Edgar fights Max and he beats Ortega, I don't know. I think Jeremy Stephens is probably going to have to fight one more opponent after Emmett. You know what I'm saying? Because Emmett knocked out Lamas, but Lamas had the name. Emmett's brand new to a lot of people. It's going to be a main event. And he could, if the UFC, you know what I'm saying? Like, if desperate times call for desperate measures. But I don't think the UFC would choose him out of, like, all of the #1 contenders, even a rematch with a Max Holloway. What if Max Holloway loses and wants a rematch or gets a rematch? What if, you know, I just think Emmett's not the name that's going to get him the title shot. It would be a great win, but I think he'll need one more fight, and it might be a Jose Aldo, it might be Ortega, or it might be the loser of loser of UFC 222. I mean, yeah. So I think he's going to have to take one more fight after Emmett. Last question. 20 times Man United. What got you into MMA? I just wanted to be able to defend myself, bro. You know what I'm saying? I used to get bullied. No, I'm just fucking around. I don't train MMA. What got me into MMA? Well, a combination of things, I guess you would have to say. I used to watch WWE as a kid, and of course there's similarities, but that's not what it was. I didn't see it and say, oh my god, the new WWE. No, but there's similarities in that, you know, individual people. But I would have to say in high school, my cousin and one of my friends from high school, they were hardcore fans back in the day, and so of course you would hear them talking about it and stuff. But when you don't know about it, you don't know about it. But then eventually I watched an Anderson Silva fight, and that was like, holy shit, that dude is super cool. I became a casual fan of Anderson Silva. And then Rampage Jackson, I remember the Ultimate Fighter with Rampage Jackson and Rashad. That was one of the highlights of my casual days. The fight, I hated the fight, loved the Ultimate Fighter. But so yeah, Anderson Silva, the Rampage Jackson, Chael Sonnen days. Chael Sonnen, whenever he would went to Brazil and was talking all that stuff, like I was like, what the fuck? This nigga's crazy. I remember that stuff. So yeah, those days, like the stuff that a lot of people don't like about MMA. A lot of people didn't like that Anderson Silva was flashy. They didn't like Chael Sonnen and Rampage Jackson's trash talk. but that's what drew me into the sport. So it is what it is, man. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments, because this motherfucking shit is over, dog. Thanks everybody for asking a question, or even if you're watching this is going to be probably my last video of the day. Take a little break, air this motherfucker out, let people tune in, listen to this question and answer. Then I'll get back to, I gotta watch the MMA hour, see what all news broke today. So let the full-time family know what you think in the comments, man. Thanks again. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOWG.